Hi, this is Dr. Rhonda Turpin from Grants.com, and here now to get to the meat of all this, which is how to get the money. So first of all, I'm going to assume that you have your 501c3 letter in hand, that you've applied, because that's a different course. So this course is for if you already have a 501c3, you just received your letter and you want to know what's next. So the first thing is rules to this, like everything. What happens next is that Candid rules this. That is the threshold, that is the checkpoint to decide who gets the grants. A lot of times now, what a foundation will do is go to Candid and see if you're registered with Candid. So that's the first thing, that's the threshold. How you register, Candid has some different services. The first service is the GuideStar profile. Your profile is your nonprofit identity. So the first thing that you must do once you get your 501c3 letter is to go to GuideStar and to register your profile of your agency. It's very simple. It takes about 5 minutes. It's basic information of who the contact is, what you do, your tax ID, how long you've been a nonprofit. On that bronze level, you could upload things about yourself, your mission statement. What is your mission statement? Your mission statement should be something, maybe, I like to see mission statements like one full sentence. Don't be too long in your mission statement. Just who you are, who you serve, what you're about. So your mission statement goes on your GuideStar profile. Also, then after your GuideStar profile, what's next is your website. Now, you could do your website first before your GuideStar profile. That would be the best sequence to do. I've used several. I've used Wix, I've used GoDaddy, I've used several platforms for the website. But having a website is, that's your calling card. That's your calling card, and gives potential donors somewhere to go and donate and to see what you're about. But just so you understand and so it's clear, the foundations or who you might apply for money, they are going to check to see if you're registered on GuideStar. And many of them would tell you, if you're not registered on GuideStar, stop right here with this application. Go and register for GuideStar and then come back. So it's guidestar.org. It's owned by Candid. Now, back in the day, just to give you a little history of all this, the foundation centers used to be where you could go and research a grant. But Candid owns all of this now. The foundation centers are no longer physical locations, and the foundation center is where you go to research a grant. That's where the money is, but we'll get into that a little later. We're still on the how. So we're still on the setting up your house, setting up your foundation, getting ready to take down the money. We're still on the house. So in setting up your GuideStar profile, that gives you that public identity that you need. Like I said, if you're able to do your website first, okay. If you're not, get to guidestar.org today. Stop right now. Stop after this video. Go to GuideStar and set up your GuideStar profile. Then next, what we have, once you, of course, I'm going to assume too that you've already developed a mission statement and that you're already a 501c3, because this is not that. This is not for beginners. We have another class for that on setting up your 501c3. So after that, then you also need to go to your state and set up a state ID. When you set up your EIN with the IRS, when you got your 501c3, you were not required to set up a state ID. Your state ID is once you get ready to make payroll, apply for different things, your state ID is due your state department. And what they will do, they will give you a state number. Like you have your IRS number, they will give you a state number. And that state number will allow you to do payroll in your state and different other things, but you need the state ID. It's no cost of setting up the state ID. Then the next step you would need to do is to set up your Ohio unemployment, that sort of thing. That is a small cost for the certificate. I think it was $20 or $30 to set it up. So that's not a lot of cost too, but these are checkpoints that you need in order to get a grant. Also, then next is your DNB, your Dun and Bradstreet number. In order to access county, city, federal grants, or any of those grants coming down the pipeline, you need to set up a Dun and Bradstreet. So how do you do this? You go to Dun and Bradstreet and they'll ask you basic questions about your agency. Once again, you'll put over and over again, contact, name, EIN, what you do, who do you serve, and then they'll give you a D&B number, a Dun and Bradstreet number. Without this number, you cannot apply for county, city, federal grants, because the first thing that they ask is for your Dun and Bradstreet number, which is basic questions, and they'll assign your number. So once again, let's reiterate. In the how, first you must set up your GuideStar profile, get your Dun and Bradstreet number, set up your state tax number, and then your unemployment compensation, get your certificate. These are all the 4 immediate checkpoints. Now we had another one, we had a 5th one, which the 5th one was the website. Now that could come before or it could come after, but if you set up your GuideStar profile, they will ask for your website and want you to connect your website, but you know, it's okay if you put to be announced, because your website will also be your calling card. So that's one of the hows. That's one of the hows that we're talking about in how to get a grant. So then next is the RFP. We're going to talk about the RFP process. So RFP is a request for proposal. You're going to become very, very familiar with this terminology. What a request for a proposal is, a RFP. What that means is somebody is putting out a message to the public saying, we have this grant money, this is how you apply. RFPs come on a federal level, a state level, a county level, and a city level. Also, there are foundation RFPs, and there are about 6,600 foundations in the United States. So it's plenty of money available. You just have to know how to apply. So when the RFP comes out, what that does is that tells you the rules of how to get their money. RFP will state what they're looking for. It will state how much money they have. It'll state the due date. It'll state priorities. And underneath, you could click on a sample RFP, read it, and once again, if you have any questions, you could contact me and we could set something up to explain to you what an RFP is. But and to go over a sample RFP, but I will put one on a link that you could click on, and then so you'll understand the process. So where RFP started, federal RFP started at what's called the Federal Register. What the Federal Register is the news that comes out to tell you what's coming down the pipeline, what's working down the pipeline. So it's good to look at the Federal Register to see what's coming down. Also, your local online newspaper or newspaper would tell you request for proposal, and you'll see that section. It's usually a section there, and they'll tell you request for proposal. When you look at city, county, state, same thing. They have different areas where they post. If it's a state grant, they have sites that post state grants. If it's a city grant, like for instance, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and you could go to the city of Cleveland and they have an array, a wide array of grants that you could apply for. And then it's county grants. So whatever your county is, you could go directly to the website. So that's one way to see who has the money, how to access the money. Now, foundations, what's going on with foundations is that they have different platforms. The Foundation Center, Foundation Directory is, of course, who owns this? Who owns it? Right. Candid owns it. Candid owns GuideStar. It owns the Foundation Directory. It is the full one-stop platform for the 501c3s. So going to the Foundation Directory, though, is very, very, very expensive. It's $199 a month. Personally, myself, I don't subscribe. What I've done in the past is go to a Barnes & Noble and get an older directory, a physical directory. The directories cost, the hard copies start at $599 or more, and the monthly subscriptions are $199. The lowest is $199. And for a nonprofit starting out, that's very, very expensive to give up $200, and you don't need all the states. So therefore, what I do is certain libraries in your state or city has Foundation Center databases. So all you need to do is call the public library. They want you have no way of knowing this. You will not get this from Candid. So you call your local library and ask your local library, do you have access to the Foundation Center database or the Foundation Directory? In our city, there is 3. It's the main library, it's one far east, and it's one far west. So what that gives you, get a library card, take the time and go there a few hours, and it'll save you not only a few $100s a month, but you're able to access your city. The Foundation Directory looks like a giant yellow pages phone book, and what it has is all the states. And you don't need all the states. If you're in a certain state, you want to start with your state with accessing money. So that's why you don't need all the states. So foundation centers or foundation directories are at the public libraries. So it's no need to jump out there and pay the $199 a month until you really get money coming in. And even then, I like going to the library because, you know, it gives me a little outing because I work from home and I sit at the computer. It's right up the street here because fortunately for me, one of the sites is at Euclid, Ohio, and I live in Euclid, and Euclid Library is plush. So I don't go downtown because of the parking, but you can access this information without spending any money. So that's an entire class on the Foundation Center, so we're not going to get into that. But we're back on how you access the money once again is the Foundation Directory that's free at the libraries, or I'm not going to hate on Candid. You could apply at Candid for $199 a month and have it at home on your computer, the Foundation Directory. And or you can go to the regular sites, the city, the county, grants. You could register for Grants.gov, which is free, which will give you a listing of all the federal grants. All you need to do is register, and you'll see every federal grant, and that is free. That's a free database for federal grants. So that's how you access all the RFPs that's coming out, the deadlines. just due diligence and putting in the work. There is a grant writers available, grant services available. I'm one myself, but how to access the money first is like we talked about, get your house in order. Off the rip, GuideStar, then state, make sure, I'm assuming you have your mission statement already. So GuideStar, state, Ohio unemployment, and then I'm forgetting something. Let me look at my notes. Okay, I said your state ID, unemployment, mission statement, GuideStar, and then your website is last. So that's a little bit of telling you how to access the money. So next we're going to go into more of where is the money. We're going to go more into that. Okay, so that's what our next video is going to cover. Once again, in the link below, you have a link for a sample RFP. And I want you to look at that, see if you have any questions. And then because you paid for this class, you have a free consultation on the RFPs, or if you have any further questions, because it may look pretty complex. Okay, on to the next one, on to the money, on to the next one.